Hey guys, welcome to Guys and Bets. It is the Tuesday show as we approach week 2 in the NFL, week 3 in college football. Joe, another great night for you last night at the betting window.
Yes, 2-0-1. It went pretty good, but that sweep continues to elude me. I was very happy to go 2-0 with my Monday Night Football picks, so off to a strong start with Monday Night Football picks, and they basically played out kind of like I laid out.
Yeah, I was happy with my tailing. Well, I was kind of on it with you anyway, and then I did some in-games on the Texans. Did not work out for the Broncos, though.
No, I think the Broncos are in a lot of trouble. Their offensive coordinator, it's a guy who's calling plays for the first time, did not get off to a good start. Vic Fangio, supposed to be a defensive specialist, got carved up by Derek Carr. Not good.
No, it's not good. You know what else is not good? Is suggesting a Oakland A's first 5 bet last night. That
That game escalated quickly.
That could not have gone any worse for me.
I agree. It went quite badly.
You know what, though? A loss is a loss.
A loss is kind of the same.
And we'll take the -1 unit and move along.
The close ones hurt more, though.
Oh, my God.
You know what I mean?
Well, it just makes you look like you don't know what you're talking about. But, I mean, Mike Fiers was coming along just fine, and not so much.
No longer on fire, as we like to say on the show here. So we're going to have to retire that one until next season.
Yeah, tire fire, maybe, for him.
Good one.
All right, Ninja, let's move on to today. What's happening?
Well, just to your point there, Chris, would you rather lose a bet that way or lose a bet watching like a sweaty game and a sweaty bet?
I think I would rather the sweaty bet because while it's more frustrating, at least you know you were right in that, you know, you were right there. Just getting absolutely hammered with you have 11 runs in the first inning, like you just feel like an idiot. But I mean, no, that happens once a season. Unfortunately, it was a bet that I thought was going the other way.
Yeah, you can be right with your handicap but still lose a bet. So I would rather lose the close one than get obliterated.
Yeah.
Folks, hit that thumbs up button and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you do not already. We appreciate all the likes and all the subscribers. Joe, Chris, and myself recording the pod later this afternoon, so that will be out tonight, so check for that. And then Chris and Harry back with their pod tomorrow, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. For MLB, a look ahead to college and a look ahead to some NFL. Let's go.
Chris and Harry Back. That could be the name of our podcast, the Harry Back Podcast.
I like that.
But I'm ching. All right, Joe, no football for a couple of nights, but you do have a pick for this weekend.
Yes, so week 1 with my Guys and Bets picks, I went 4-3. That's good, but not great. I want to be great in week 2, and we're going to get things started off right now with a line that I think is going to move. It's already moved, so I want to get it now, and that is the Dallas Cowboys coming in at -4.5, playing in Washington. It pains me a great deal to say this, but the Dallas Cowboys might, in fact, be awesome. The week 1 trashing of the Giants is too small of a sample size to go off of, but when we go back to last regular season, they're on an 8-1 run, going 7-1 against the spread in this span. Well, I think the Cowboys are on track for a great season. I wasn't fooled by the Redskins' close loss to the Eagles for a second. Some early rust got Carson Wentz off to a slow start. After he got that out of the way, the Eagles obliterated them by 22 points from late in the second quarter until the end of the game. And it would have been much worse if it wasn't for a Washington garbage time TD with 6 seconds left. Also, Dallas has been a big money bet in divisional games lately, going 11-3 ATS in their last 14 games against divisional opponents. Specific to this matchup, they are 4-1 straight up in ATS over the last 5 seasons in Washington. And inside of 5 points, I absolutely love them.
Yeah, inside of 6 will be even fine, and I think that's where the line's going to be for the circuit contest, and I'm definitely playing this game there. I love
Yes,
it.
this one opened at 3.5. I was surprised by that, and I still like it at 4.5, and I think it could move another point.
Yeah, I saw it get up to 5 in some places, and then came back a little bit, and I think you're right. I think people are overvaluing Washington's start, but as soon as Philadelphia woke up in that game, it was done deal.
Yeah, and with that said, guys, don't wait until Sunday to place all your bets because you're going to get much better value in some cases earlier in the week. So if you like a line, do not wait. Jump on it right away.
Okay, we asked a question that hurt the hearts of a lot of people here at OddsShark today on our poll, but we have to be realistic. So for the Super Bowl, is it the Patriots or the field? Who do you like? 52% said the Patriots, 48% said the field. I mean, after week one, it looked like it was New England's to lose, and we get a close bet. Are people overreacting to New England?
Yes. Antonio Brown definitely moves the needle, and New England looked awesome against the Steelers, but I'm going to take the field in this situation in the NFL every single time. One injury to Tom Brady, and they're screwed.
Well, so a lot of people out there will know Stephen Campbell from the website, and he does this bet every single year with a massive Patriots fan here in our office. Stephen gets the field, and he has lost more than he's won over the last few years.
He's lost 2 out of 3 times, and the bet is the loser has to do 5 of the most disgusting shots you can possibly think of. Stuff with like mayo and hot sauce and soy sauce in them.
Yeah.
It's very nasty stuff, but I get to go and watch, and it's very funny.
Yeah, I watched last year. Made me sick watching. Stephen left shortly after that happened. So we had a good night the rest of the night. But, Joe, to your point about getting bets in early, I'm going to do that here with the Alabama game in South Carolina. Talking about the Patriots, talking about Alabama, these teams, yeah, they're publicly favorited, but they also cover. And that's why I'm going to back Alabama with what is their smallest spread of the season at -26 on the road in South Carolina this weekend. They're outscoring opponents 104-13 through 2 games so far. 10 of those 13 points came with the second-string defenders in. These teams haven't played each other since 2010, so it's kind of hard to get a gauge. But I think if you're getting a number inside 4 touchdowns with Alabama right now, you've got to take it. South Carolina's got a freshman quarterback, Ryan Hilinski, starting. The starter for South Carolina, Jake Bentley, broke his foot in week 1. So Hilinski comes in, he beats Charleston Southern with a decent effort of a couple of 100 yards passing last week, but little bit of a different challenge when it comes to the visiting Crimson Tide. And the numbers, Alabama covered 6 of 8 of their SEC games last season. They're 11-5 against the spread on the road in their conference since 2015. They're just getting it done. They were a first half darling last year. We've talked about that before, why we may avoid that. And there's one other thing here. LSU is becoming the 3rd big team in the SEC with Alabama and Georgia. And now they've really got to make sure they do everything they can to get into the college football playoff.
Yeah, I like your pick. You always have to be concerned with Alabama pulling the starters, maybe in the 4th quarter, but maybe early in the season when the guys don't need a whole lot of rest, maybe that's not a concern.
All right, getting to the end here in Major League Baseball, just a few weeks left in the regular season. It cannot go by fast enough, frankly. We got a team here, Joe, in the Tampa Bay Rays that are looking to put the clamps on a wild card spot.
Yes, indeed, Chris. We are going deep into the heart of Texas for what looks to be a very good spot with the Rays full game money line coming in at -130. Let's start with Rays starter Ryan Yarbrough, who's flying under the radar as a second-half ace. The Rays are 8-2 in second-half games that he's pitched in, and since August 1st, he ranks 5th among all starters with a .219 FIP, putting him right behind Justin Verlander. It couldn't line up any better for him today versus a Ranger squad that's been a disgrace versus left-handed pitching. Over the last 20 days, they are last in OPS versus lefties with a pathetic .200 batting average and the 4th lowest walk percentage. The Rangers will counter with Lance Lynn, and they've been a great fade when he takes a mound, going 2-8 in his last 10 starts. It won't help that Tampa has been pretty good versus righties, ranking 10th in OPS over the last 20 days, while also ranking 10th in scoring in this span. Give me Tampa.
All right, I like it. Did Edwin Jackson pitch for both Texas and Tampa?
I think he's pitched for every team in the league 2 or 3 times now.
Pretty sure. I think Edwin Jackson might need the money. He's going again tonight for the Detroit Tigers. And we're going to have to fade Edwin Jackson. The crazy part about this is, and more like Ed Lost Jackson. Shout out Ninja. That's really good. The crazy part about this is New York has not announced a starting pitcher yet. Doesn't matter. The line isn't out. Doesn't matter. I'm taking the Yankees team total because Edwin Jackson is starting for the Detroit Tigers. Yes, they're batting practice pitchers, with better numbers than Edwin Jackson. I mean it. A 9.16 ERA, a 1.98 WHIP. That is so bad. And a 3.49 opponent's batting average. This guy just needs to retire, call it a career. The Yankees roster is formidable against pretty much everyone. Here's their slash line against Edwin Jackson.
Oh boy.
That's 353 batting average, 437 on base, 637 slugging. They scored 6 runs on 6 hits in 3.1 innings against him earlier this season when he was with the Blue Jays. Lastly, the Yankees are hitting a home run on 23.4% of their fly balls since August 1st. That leads the majors, obviously. Edwin Jackson is among the league worst in home runs per fly ball percentage. He gives up a home run on 24% of his fly balls. He's only pitching to 12.4% soft contact. This number can't be too high. Like the most it'll be is 6.5. And we're going over that. Maybe a first 5 number. Like this is like a choose your adventure type deal when we see what the line is. But we got to fade Edwin Jackson here.
Yeah, I would anticipate a team total set at 6.5. You don't see a whole lot of 7.5s unless it's Colorado or the game's being played in London. And, that Tigers bullpen stinks too. So the Yankees, I like them for 8 runs today.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay, and now we move over to the highly anticipated matchup in the American League Central between 2 non-playoff teams.
Yes, it is the game of the week, not just in baseball, but in all of sports. And I know the eyes of the nation will be on this one. Not just this nation, but I have buddies in Europe who will be tuning in. A good friend in Australia will be watching. And I know Ninja has a couple of great buddies in Thailand that are making time to watch this one. Of course, I am talking about the Royals, who are in Chicago to take on the White Sox. And I'm going to go with the White Sox full game money line at minus 111. It's been an up and down season for Ivan Nova, but mainly up in the second half, especially at home, where he's allowed a grand total of just 2 earned runs in his last 4 home starts. He should expect plenty of run support from a White Sox offense that appears to be peaking. Over the last week, they ranked 3rd in the league in runs with the 5th best OPS. They're also on a nice little tear versus the Royals at home, going 8-2 since August of last season. They face Jacob Junis, who's allowed 4 earned runs in each of his last 3 starts. Perhaps more important, though, Junis is being backed by a bullpen that ranks 30th in ERA over the last 20 days. So give me the White Sox.
I'm with you. We've also got a producer here behind the scenes named Ishan Junis, and we should fade him as often as possible as well. So fade all Junai in your life.
Ishan is a fantastic fade.
He is.
Yeah.
You know what? Speaking of guys that work here, Ian McMillan, I tweeted out before the show that Alec, who's been getting a lot of FaceTime, here we go, is blasting Killing in the Name of by Rage Against the Machine in my IFB, and that's studio talk for the earpiece. And look what Ian has to say.
God, this guy, he's just so out of touch. Have you heard of the Beatles, Ian?
I don't think he has. I don't think he has. Also, Just Aqua. That's all he's ever heard of. When do we start wondering if he's just a loser?
When's the last time Ian's watched a movie, I wonder?
I don't know.
Or what is his favorite movie?
The Aqua soundtrack.
I heard it was The Notebook, but I'm not sure.
Ian just getting roasted, but I guess he's going to be sitting in one day next week.
Yeah, he'll be in next Tuesday, so come with some ammo, Ian.
All right, enough of the sideshow. Let's go to, well, this could be a sideshow as well. The Cincinnati Reds and the Seattle Mariners coming up tonight. They open a series at T-Mobile Park. We've got the best under team in the league against one of the best over teams. I'm going to take over 9 runs. I think this total is too small in Seattle tonight. And let me tell you a big reason why. Trevor Bauer on the road with the Reds. Oh, my good God. What else is there to be said about that number? Is he living like Ric Flair did in 1983, hanging out at airport Marriotts all hours of the night, running around with his robe on and nothing else?
Yes.
Trevor Bauer, what's going on?
His health can't be very good right now.
Oh. Meanwhile, Justice Sheffield goes for the Seattle Mariners. He's got a 7.94 ERA at home. Cincinnati comes in scoring 4.2 runs over their last 5 games, so their bats are going to do half of the work here. And like I said, Seattle, one of the best over teams in the league. I think a number at 9 here, Joe, is pretty fair. Most games in Seattle have had bigger totals than this. We talked about the starting pitchers' ERAs. Both bullpens are in the bottom 10 of ERA in the majors since August 1st. Both ERAs for the teams' bullpens are over 5. So I think if I had to pick one side or another, I've got to go over here.
Yes, I had this one on my radar. I like the White Sox pick better, though, so I went with that. I think I might wait to see if this goes down to 8.5, but, I mean, Bauer, he's just been a disaster.
On the road for sure. Okay, that does it for our picks. Oh, Ninja, afternoon sweat. I need it again today. There's nothing going on. I need Euro soccer qualifier. What do we got?
Yeah, probably have a look after the show, but thinking about England, they host Kosovo today. England topping the group. I think Kosovo's only 1 point back. Might take England -2 there, but in games like this, always wait for the starting 11. You figure with that England will come out with their full first team in this one to put a lockdown on first place there in that group. Ian McMillan chiming in and says music is overrated.
Yeah, okay.
And speaking of Ian, I'm sure some of you at home saw Ian's post on Twitter about abandoning his Atlanta Falcons and adopting the Bolts there as his new NFL team. I think he was rocking a LaDainian Tomlinson jersey in that one. Respect for that. He probably never saw Tomlinson play. But Joe, I see that you're following in his footsteps there in looking for a new team to cheer for.
I'm looking to adopt a new team for just this season. As you guys know, I'm a Miami Dolphins fan, so I'll be rooting for them just to completely tank and go 0-16 so that they can get Tua first overall in the draft. So I'm looking for a team to cheer for this year. A few teams on my radar. First, I thought the Titans after they humiliated the Browns on Sunday, but Ryan Tannehill's a backup, so big red flag there. I kind of want it to be the Texans because I'm a big Deshaun Watson and Clemson fan, but their coaching is kind of difficult to get on board with. I talked the Bears up quite a bit. They got embarrassed in week 1. We'll see how they do in week 2, but by default, it might just go with the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll see how week 2 shakes up.
What about the Minnesota Vikings? Kirk Cousins, you can't do it.
No. Can't do that. I want it to be the Texans still. They covered the spread last night. They should have won that game, but their coaching is just abysmal, and they will most likely have a new head coach next season, and probably they should have a new defensive coordinator too. So we'll see how the rest of or how week 2 goes, and maybe I'll be closer to making a decision.
A lot of talk in the chat here, Chris, about taking Mexico tonight against Argentina. No Messi for Argentina. They're kind of a train wreck with or without him. Plus 175, I think, there on the money line. So consider that. We'll see how the England bets go here this afternoon. Like I said at the top, Joe, Chris, and I will be recording the pod today. Look at the Week 2 NFL board. Chris and Harry will record their podcast tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. And I put this one in the chat here, and I'd like your guys' opinions on this. Who was the worst team in week 1 other than the Miami Dolphins? I'll leave you with that.
The Denver Broncos, because they cost me money and a spot in the Circa last night as well. So I'm going to say the Denver Broncos sucked.
I think them, but if you bring other factors into it, I would go with the Cleveland Browns because of all the hype. They were playing at home. Baker Mayfield absolutely sucked. I kind of think they will bounce back here on Monday night against the Jets, but I would say the Browns were the biggest disappointment considering the expectations.
I think you've got to give honorable mention to the Pittsburgh Steelers as well.
Yes, 100%. That was a disgrace, as I said yesterday.
We'll talk more about that on the podcast. That should be out later tonight, tomorrow morning at the latest. Joe, it's been a good show. Let's win some bets tonight, guys. If you did not see what we did, after you follow us on Twitter, I always do this thing, like, I don't know, like it's the first time. You know when you used to see people do it. Follow us there. Anyway, here's our picks. The show's gone way too long.